We're going to be going over how you can use GraphQL code generator to generate TypeScript types based off of GraphQL queries that we're going to call. Now, the reason we want to do this is because we're going to get some nice auto completion when we're calling our mutations and queries, and we want to pass in variables, and when we want to receive the data and see what the return values and from queries what the types of the data we're getting from that are. Now, before we jump into how to actually do this, I want to address the CORS issue that we were getting in the end of the last video. So this is actually a really simple change, but it's something we have to change on the server. So what's happening on the server is Apollo actually overwrites the CORS that we have set. So we can tell Apollo not to do that by passing CORS as false when we apply middleware to this. So again, this is something we have to change in the server. So under source index.ts. So in your project, you want to make this change. And if you're just cloning the project off of GitHub and you're watching this the same day this video is going out, you'll either want to make the change yourself or pull the code, because I'm about to push up an update with this change added to it. So when you add that though, now when you actually request the login mutation or press on the button, you should get data back in the console. It should still say null, but you shouldn't get any errors about CORS. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and get started with the GraphQL code generator. So I'm going to close out of the series or the type GraphQL series, and I'm going to open up the console here. So we're going to be the folder for the front end here, and we're going to follow the instructions right here. So step one is to install GraphQL code generator as a dev dependency. So I'm going to say yarn add dev. You'll also probably want to install this globally. That way you can call GQL gen init like this. To install it globally, all you do is npm i-g, or you could probably use, I believe yarn global is the equivalent in yarn. You can run this to install it globally. So when it's installed globally, we can just run GQL gen init. And what this is going to do is going to be like a little questionnaire to ask us how to set up the project or the config file. So we're going to start by accepting the React one. We don't have anything else here we want to accept for this question. Where is your schema at? We're going to point this to the URL of our server, which is at HTTP localhost 4000/GraphQL. What operations? This is where we want to store our GraphQL queries and mutations. I'm going to go ahead and create a folder called GraphQL, and inside of there, we'll put everything. And so we're going to be dealing with .ts files. So we're going to go through all the folders in the GraphQL folder and look for TS files. Here we get to pick which plugins that we want to use with the code generator. We're going to have common, client, and then we're also going to be doing the React Apollo typed components and higher order components. This is going to give us some automatically generated components, which is pretty cool. And we'll look at what that looks like in a second. Where to write the output, this is where we want the automatic types and all this stuff to be printed to. I'm going to create a folder. We don't have a source folder right now, so I'm just going to create a folder called generated. And inside of that, I'm going to have Apollo components is what I'm going to call it, .tsx. Do you want to generate an introspection file? Not really interested in that. How do you name the config file? The default is fine, codegen.yaml. What script and package.json? I'm going to call it generate. And we need to actually, okay, that actually automatically adds generate for us. Nice. So it should add a codegen.yaml file for you. And here's what it looks like. And again, we could have just created this YAML file instead of going through the questionnaire if we wanted to, but I kind of like going through the init to create this. It's a little simpler. All right, so we're going to just call this script right here, GQL gen config codegen. And we can run it by doing yarn generate. And first off, it says, oh yeah, we need to actually install the plugins. We haven't done that yet. I forgot about that. All right, so if we go to codegen, we did TypeScript common. So we're going to say GraphQL codegen TypeScript, and we're not going to do resolvers. We're going to say TypeScript common, and it's going to be the same format for each one, so we can copy and paste. So it's going to be TypeScript client and GraphQL Cogen TypeScript React Apollo. And I'm going to install these as dev dependencies. So common, client, and then React Apollo. Also, when we run this, it shouldn't really generate anything yet because we don't have any GraphQL files as well. So let's see if it gives us an error about that yet. Yep, so it says no matched files for our glob here. And so it didn't create the file, I guess. So let's go ahead and create a new folder called GraphQL. And this is where we're going to put all our queries. So I'm going to create a new folder here, which I'm going to call user. Inside of user, I'm going to say mutation, say mutations. And then we're going to create a login.ts. Here I'm going to say export const login mutation. And so here I'm going to just copy the login mutation that we added over here. And I'm now just going to add a little bit to it. So the important part when generating types is you need to give your mutations a name. And we also need to import GraphQL or GQL from GraphQL tag. We can import it from GraphQL tag, or we can do it from Apollo Boost. Either one works. So we'll give it a name. I'm going to call it login. We also want to pass in some variables now. I'm going to go ahead and say email, which is a string, and password, which is also a string. And we'll just pass that in right here, email and password. Okay, so now we have a GraphQL mutation inside of this folder structure. So it's going to find this file and generate types for it. All right, so yarn generate. And I guess we don't have a generated folder. It's probably what it's complaining about. So let's create a generated folder. And then we'll run that again. All right. And so it's going to create an Apollo components file for us. And now you'll notice we have basically TypeScript definitions or interfaces that match what is expected from login. So for example, here's the login input or register input, which actually we don't need that right now. We just need login because it generates more than what we have just queried as well. It'll also kind of just generate everything for us. And here is our, I guess, our login type and what we get back from the response. But most importantly, the thing that I like about it is it's going to generate us, I believe it's called a login component. So by default, it's going to go ahead and create a namespace for the login component. And we actually can't have a namespace when using Babel to transpile the TypeScript, which is what Next.js uses. So we can avoid this problem by coming over to our Cogen. So we can actually pass a command or a config option to this Cogen.yaml, and we can say no namespaces and set equal to true. So what that's going to do is when we say yarn generate now, it's not going to use namespaces, and so it's going to be called, so now it's going to be called a login component. And so this login component, you'll notice, is it automatically has a mutation in there, and they pass in the generics for you automatically. So basically this saves you from passing in the generics when you're doing this. And we can see, I'll show you an example of what I mean by that in a second. It also does this for the higher order component. So you can use the render prop or the higher order component with this. So in our index over here, I said mutation right here. And so one thing I could do is I could pass in the login mutation that we have imported over in our GraphQL folder. And then I could pass in the generics, login mutation, and login mutation variables. And I don't know what the name of it is. It's going to have our login component. It will know. Yeah, login variables. All right, so now we can pass in those two generics ourselves, but this is kind of redundant to be having to type all this out every single time. So that's where that component that they created for us automatically has those types in. So now we can just say, all right, delete that, login component, login component. And now we're going to know that this login component has the right types. So when I talked about types earlier, what that means is when I pass in, for example, variables, and I hit control space, it's going to tell me which variables I can pass into this. So we know we need to pass in email. It knows I need to pass in a password. And then the response itself, I can hover over it, and I know that there's going to be type definition for it. So I can say, for example, if response, because it can be possibly void, so we need to check it, and I can do dot, and now I can see I can get the data from it, which can also be possibly null. So we can do something like that, and now we can see the login value, which again can possibly be null, so we can conditionally kind of add this. Now this can be kind of annoying to do. In the future, they're going to give us some nice syntax like this to be able to access properties like this. But this is just an example to show you how you're able to get the type definitions, and TypeScript knows what properties you can access because we added the type login component. Anyway, but this doesn't actually change any of the way it works. Like if we come back over to our site, we'll say yarn dev to start it back up, and we call the login mutation, it's still going to tell us we're still going to return null because we're doing the wrong login. So I wasn't expecting this error at all, so I just did a little bit of debugging, and I thought it'd be helpful to kind of give you like my thought process when I was looking through this. Because like first off, this message is not super helpful. All it tells us is we get a bad request, and then it says just network response not successful. So Apollo sometimes doesn't give you super helpful error messages like this, and so what I'll do is I'll click on the network tab, and you can actually click on the ones that fail. So like for example, I can see all these red ones here. And I'll click on GraphQL, and then I'll go over to response, and it gives me a much better error message. So here it says argument password of required type string was provided as a variable, but was not provided at a runtime value. And I had never actually seen an error like this before, or haven't run across this error before. So the first thing I was like, I wonder if we messed up something when set up the Apollo client. And so the first thing that I did to try to see if that assumption was correct was just to go to GraphQL Playground and run this query. So I went ahead and did that, and you'll notice you get the exact same error. So it's nothing that we did wrong on our front end. So we messed up something else when building the server, and it turns out it's actually our validation. The query complexity validation that we added, we're passing the variables as an empty object because we actually can't get access to the variables because of a limitation of Apollo server. And so that actually kind of breaks it. So we actually can't use the query complexity with Apollo right now, at least this library. So I'm going to go ahead and comment this out in the server as well. So this is in the index file on the server. So go ahead and do that as well if you have the code. And again, I'm going to push this up so you can pull it to get this commented out. But after you do that, we can come back over here, and it lets us log in just fine. And then if I call the login mutation over here, can clear a console, you'll notice we now get the null that we expect back. But anyway, that aside, I hope that gave you a good idea of how you can use GraphQL code generator. So just to recap, what we did is we first made a config by going over the GQL init, and then after that we pointed it at our mutations and queries. So we're going to put all of it in the GraphQL folder. We wrote out our query. So what we're going to do is every time we write out a new query like this or a mutation, we're going to run the generate command, which is going to look through these files, and it's going to generate an Apollo components file over here. And so this is going to have all these things automatically created for us, and we can use in our application. And just a heads up as well, GraphQL code generator works with the front end, and you can also generate types for the back end as well. As you saw when we were filling out the questionnaire, it has more than just front end capabilities, which is pretty cool.